Hi everyone, it's Tammy with Frou-frou Studio. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing the hashtag ABC April 2025, which is a collaboration between Margaret at Seven Plaza and Tony at Crafty by Tony. They have come up with this fun celebration of April in junk journaling by assigning a letter to each day of April except for Sundays, and you're to make a piece of ephemera or a journal or whatever you would like, using items that begin with that letter that describe something to do with junk journaling. There's not really any rules. Anybody can join the collaboration. The only rule that they have is that you do the specific letter on that particular day. And please try not to jump ahead. And if you're making videos or posting to Instagram or whatever, try to stick to the day that is actually that letter. So, today is the 7th, and our letter of the day is F. And they do have a printed calendar that is available in their coffee shop. And they also have suggestions for each letter of the alphabet. But you can use those suggestions, or you can come up with your own as long as it begins with the letter of the day. So, like I said, today is F. So the first thing I did is I went through and I wrote down everything I could think of that I use in journaling that may start with an F. And so I have florals, French, found relatives, floating pocket, fold, because we all do a lot of folding and junk journaling, don't we? Film strip, flip, fabric, the 40s, a frame, and a file folder. So, F is a really good letter, I think, for junk journaling because those rolled off, really quickly, where some of the other letters I've kind of struggled with a little bit, coming up with things that have to do with journaling for those letters. But it seems like the F was really easy for me. So, we'll talk about a little bit about each one of these, and I am going to do a make today to go in my 1930s journal. Too bad it wasn't a 1940s journal, which I've also done before. But I'm working in this one, so I thought what I made today, I would make it so that I could use it in this journal. So, a little bit about these things. Florals. Florals are easy. You can find books with florals, fabric with florals, digitals with florals, florals in magazines, and everybody loves flowers. So that is, really a popular theme for journals. French. A lot of people do French journals or use French ephemera in their journals. I am one of them. The reason being is, one, I love their art and architecture. And two, I love the way that their documents look. The older documents, the fancy writing, just the French language in itself. So there are tons of digitals out there that are French documents checks, you know, all that kind of stuff. There are stamps. I know I have a couple of stamps by Tailor-Made Journals that are written in French. And so, yeah, that's one of my favorite go-tos, especially for like script stamps and stuff like that. Found relatives. Of course, there are the Tim Holtz Found Relatives ephemera pack, which has copies of old cabinet card type of pictures, but you can also find actual vintage cabinet cards at antique stores and places like that. And I have quite a collection of original ones, as well as I have Tim's as well. And it really just depends on the size and what I want to use it for. And I think I have an example. Yeah. Like this one is one that I found in an antique store. And you can find them a lot of times that aren't very expensive. This one doesn't have anything on the back of it. The ones that, you know, might have the writing around here or have the photographer's name on the back, they're usually a little more expensive. But depending on how you're going to use it, it may not matter if there's anything on the back or not. So I think she's an adorable little girl. Next is a floating pocket. That to me, and you know, don't take my word for it because I'm not a walking Webster Junk Journal dictionary by any means. But to me, a floating pocket is a pocket that can be removed. Sorry, my nose is running from allergies. A pocket that can be removed or taken out of another pocket that you can see both sides of. So if you wanted to do something like a pocket on both sides of a piece, then I'm looking here through my stuff to see if I have one readily available that I can show you what I mean. This could kind of be considered a floating pocket, I guess. It could be made into a floating pocket. In other words, there's a pocket here and there's a pocket here, and there's also an envelope. So if I was to seal this up and open it here and cause another pocket on this side, then when I put it in my journal, I wouldn't want to glue it down. I would want to clip it down or something so that it can be removed and turned over so you can see the other side. Okay, that's the closest I have around me. Fold. I mean, I don't have to say anything about fold. We all fold. We fold paper all day long, so that was an easy one. Film strip. Film strip can be washi. Like I have this roll of washi that looks like a film strip. It can also be a die cut, which I don't have any die cut out right now. It can be something that is purchased, and I'm looking here for a piece that I think I have stuck in here for my 1930s journal. Maybe not. I thought I had a piece stuck in here, but maybe I don't. But it's just 49 Market has some that are really nice that They come in different colors, and they're made out of an acetate, I guess, that's been tinted. And I can't believe I don't have a piece in here. Anyway, but yeah, you can do that, or you can use actual film strip. This is from a roll of film strip that I got when I was in Germany that I used on these altered cards. Let me grab it. Actually, that may be Tim Holtz. I think that's Tim Holtz, which I don't know if that is available anymore. But I found this in Germany at a flea market. And it is, yeah, see, it's not as wide. But it's an actual movie, Tom and Jerry. So I grabbed that. It was, you know, a couple of euro. And I thought that would be really neat in junk journaling. So I have that. And like I said, I'm not sure if that Tim Holtz film strip is still available or not. Alright, what do we have next? A flip. We all make flips. It can flip out, it can flip up, it can flip down. A flip is actually what I'm going to make today. It's going to flip and flap, I think. Fabric. You can use fabric a ton of ways in your journal. You can use it on your cover, like I am using here. You can use it for the top of your tags. You can use it for page edges. You can do a fabric flip, and you would have 2 Fs, which basically you just take a piece of fabric and rip it down so it'll fit on your page. You attach it at the top, and it will flip up and give you kind of a secret hidden journal spot in your journal. So fabric is good. Good sources of fabric are the thrift store. Look through clothing for interesting patterns on tops or dresses or whatever. Like I said the other day about the denim, you know, look in the kids' baby clothes, because a lot of times they're really, really inexpensive and they may have a cute pattern or whatever. If you go to estate sales, look for hankies, look for aprons, look for cutter quilts, which is what I made that cover out of. Look in your kitchen linens. A lot of times, some of the older estate sales, or estate sales where an older person was living there, they have old linens with embroidery, or the old hand towels or tea towels. They have great graphics on them. I've gotten a lot of those. They have pot holders. Look at pot holders. A lot of them had make-do handmade pot holders that may look like a quilt. Just, you know, don't always have your eyes open, and don't necessarily think that you have to go down, you know, even in your thrift stores where the crafts and all that are, because you never know what you're going to find. Placemats sometimes you may find an old sheet or some drapes or something that has a great pattern on it. So that's just a few ideas. Like I said, the 40s, I like to do different decades, except for the 70s. Not my thing. But you know, I like the 20s, 30s, 40s in particular. I do like retro, you know, 60s, 50s, and 60s. Couldn't stand the 70s, even though I grew up in the 70s. 80s aren't really my thing. So I would say for me, it's 1960s and before, all the way back to Victorian, you know. But that's another thing to think of when you're doing a journal and you're wanting to come up with a theme. You know, is there a decade in time that you liked that, you know, you may have liked the fashion or, you know, whatever for that particular thing. Frames. I think we use frames a lot in our journals. Those can be paper frames, digital frames. I know Tim Holtz has some, you know, more thicker, kind of like a baseboard frames. Mente has a book of frames that you can get, that you can cut out. There's, did I say digitals? I may have. I don't have my Mente papers close by, but I can show you their frames, but they have a quite nice book of frames that you can cut out. Die cuts. There's die cuts that make frames. And lastly, with file folder. So many things you can do with a file folder. Even the big manila ones, I use those all the time. They make great covers. This journal is actually made out of a file folder. But you can make journals. You can use it to make tags. You can make, we're going to use one today. This is a die cut by Tim Holtz that will make a file folder. You can also make your own, any size you want. I know Tim also has like a set that you can buy that are already made. I do have those somewhere, but I don't particularly care for them because they're all real shiny, and I end up covering them anyway. So usually it's easier for me to just cut my own than it is to try to use those by the time I try to take all the shine off of that, all that off of it. So that's my input on the F's for the day. So let me show you what I'm going to make today. Like I said, I'm making something for this journal. So I have taken a piece of the Dapper. Almost all of this, I think all of this actually is the Tim Holtz paper. And for those of you that don't know, he did come out with a vault series and released his papers again in both an 8x8 and a 12x12, if you can still find them. I ordered mine the instant that I heard that they came out, and there's one pack that I still can't find. So I don't know if they're still out there and they're just waiting for another stock to come in, or if they're all gone and that's it. So, but anyway, this is from the Dapper set. And this particular, the ones that I picked out are coordinating, and they have kind of a cigar theme. So the first thing that I did, and these, I got the 8x8s. I did not get the 12x12s because I thought the 8x8s would work better for junk journaling. So that's what I ended up getting. I wish now I had gotten 2 packs of everything in case they don't come back out. but I didn't. But I will say that on this reissue, you get 2 pages of each pattern, so that works out pretty good. Sorry, I had to get a swallow on my drink. I'm talking too much today. And forgive my sloppy sweatshirt here. It is one of my crafting sweatshirts. And we've decided, I guess, to have our last little cold spurt. I think today and tomorrow we've got a frost freezing. It's crazy. It was just almost 90. And so I'm hoping that after this little last one, it'll be it. Alright, so what I did is I took my 8x8. I scored it at 1 inch. And then I folded it over. And I left just a little bit so I could make my little flip out, because what's going to happen on the page is, I'm going to put it back here on this brown, it's toward the back somewhere, here. What's going to happen is it's going to be on here as a flip, like this. Okay, and it's going to flip out like this. So I left just a little bit of a cut back there, for lack of better words, right now, that I can't think of, so that it wouldn't interfere flipping in and out. And I'm going to wrap it around so that I have a tuck on this side. Okay, if you didn't want to wrap it around, then you could glue it here and have it flip out like this. Either way would work, but I just thought it would look better and more pleasing to me to have it wrap around the page, and then that gives us another tuck on this side. So that's what I'm going to do. So on the front part of it, I want to put a little pocket down here at the bottom, and I've kind of folded and cut these things ahead of time, because I knew I was going to be talking quite a bit about the F's of journaling, and I didn't want this video to be forever long. And then we're going to put this handsome young man in here, and it is a journal card. Now this kit, this 1930s kit, is by Joey Cardmaker, and he does have several different decade kits, so I encourage you to jump over and check him out. He is on Etsy, and check out. I saw, actually I saw this morning that he has a really cute freebie, another F. Several of the digital creators do create freebies that are available usually on their Ko-fi sites. So, yeah, be sure to take advantage of those. And that's a great way to get a good start if you're new to junk journaling, is you know, to check out the freebies that are being offered by the digital artist. And that'll give you a few pages to get started. And usually they have the coordinating kit to go with whatever their freebie is. The full-size kit available either in their Etsy stores or on the Ko-fi sites. So, you know, if you get the freebie and you like it, then you can jump over to their stores and get the full kits. But Joey has, back to what I was saying, Joey has a really cute, it looked like a real summery, kind of Eastery freebie available. So I encourage you to go jump over to his Ko-fi site and look and see what he has available, because he is a wonderful digital artist. And I use quite a few of his kits, and in particular his decade kits, because they're just fabulous. Alright, so this is what I'm going to do on this side. I'm going to put a pocket, and then I'm going to decorate it with this little strip of paper and this actual vintage, well, I don't know if it's vintage or not, but it's a actual cigar band. It's probably not vintage, but so I'm going to do that. So we're going to ink around everything. I think I've already inked the picture. No, maybe not. Maybe that's Joey's handiwork on the digital. So I think I'm going to use walnut stain. I feel like I'm talking 90 miles an hour today, guys. I'm excited about this. I'm excited not only because I'm loving this challenge, but also because I'm loving the way this journal is looking so far. It's okay to love our own work, right? Yes, definitely. There's no point in doing it if you don't love what you're doing. And these little cards, there are several of them, are laid out on the paper in such a way that when you print them out, the front and back are side by side, so all you have to do is fold them in half and glue them, and you get a good, you know, not super steady or sturdy, but sturdy enough to be a journal card where you don't have to worry about trying to back them. I don't like that. Plus, it has the really cool designs on the back. And welcome to all my new subscribers. I'm glad you're here, and I hope that I can entertain you and show you some stuff the way I do it that maybe you weren't aware of. I'm not sure that I have any processes or ideas that other people don't have, but I do kind of like to tell you where I'm coming from when I do something. Okay, I have an Etsy shop as well where I sell journals and ephemera. I don't have very much ephemera right now because I've been working more on journals, but I do need to restock my ephemera makes. This is just a tad too long, and I'm trying to hold it so I can trim that little piece off, and it's not, I'm not being very successful. Yesterday I came up and was working on some stuff. Was it yesterday? No, maybe the day before. I may have mentioned it in another video, to be honest. I don't remember. Yeah, I did, about dumping all my butterflies on the floor. Oh, what a mess. I'm still finding butterflies. Okay, so I'm going to put this up a little bit because this is such a tall narrow piece here that I feel like if I put it all the way at the bottom, it's going to look, there's going to be too much space here. So, and I did put gussets on this pocket because this is so wide that I need every bit of space that I can get. So that's a way to not only get more space in your pocket because your glue is going to be on these little flaps, but it also allows you to be able to fit more in the pocket because, you know, you're giving yourself a gusset. I haven't used my glue today, so I'm going to have to coax it into getting started here. So we're just going to glue this down. Straight would be nice. And tomorrow when we do G, I'll talk to you a little bit about the glues that I prefer to use. And again, it's just personal choice mainly. But I do have reasons that I use what I use, and I will share those with you. And then, you know, it's just kind of trial and error for what you guys like. That's how I ended up with what I use, by just, you know, trying everything out and see what suited my crafting needs the best. And when people say glues are all the same, that is not true. I can tell you that, because I've tried enough of them to know that all glues are not equal. Now, I'm doing pretty simple embellishments right now, and I probably will go out back and add some more stuff, but I just want to kind of show you the basic make, and then we can, as I get it in the journal and start putting those final touches on it, we can, you know, add more things. And then this little guy will go right down in here, hopefully. I can get him down in there, just like that. Okay, so now we know this is going to go over the page. So I'm going to go ahead and ink around those edges. I'm going to take that out just so it won't get glued in there while that's drying. I can't tell you how many times that's happened for me, trying to hurry everything and put it down in there, and then I can't get it out. Okay, and I'm going to do this fold. Now, if you are using a paper that may not be as quality as Tim Holtz paper, you can always, when you wrap it around your page, put washi on it as well, just to strengthen that fold. But I think Tim Holtz paper is thick enough that it's going to take the folding back and forth without any issues. Alright, so this right here is going to be a pocket with a long tag, and this is going to be my tag, which is just a drop that I've backed. So I'm going to go ahead and ink that and put my... Actually, I may just leave it square and put a tab on it. And it's just back with a parchment, like a parchment stationery paper. So it's got a really nice color and texture to it. Okay, so that will go down in there. So we can go ahead and glue this as a pocket. But before I would do, I want to put a notch right here so we'll know that there is something in there. And I'm going to get my whale tail punch, and I'm going to do just the circle part of it. And it'll give me a nice little notch. Let me pull that out so I can kind of tell where the middle is. And I'm just eyeballing. If you're more particular about measurements than I am, you can, of course, measure and mark the middle and all that kind of stuff. There we go. So I want to ink along right here. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to glue here and across the bottom, and that's going to give us our pocket for our long tag. And I'll let this dry, and I'll work on the file folder, because I may have to trim, depending on how this glues, I may have to trim this, the width of this a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna have it on our page. We got our pocket here. It's gonna fold out, and we have our pocket here. And so the next thing I want to do is take my little file folder, and I'm gonna put it on here. And when I put it on here, I want it to flip open like this, where I have some more of that parchment paper in here that you can write on, but I want a pocket right here. So for this one, I will glue here, here, and here on the back side. And glue it down. So now we have a flip out here, and we have a pocket there. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and we're going to embellish the outside of this folder. And create another pocket. Okay, to do that, after I find my pen to put in my glue, did I drag it off? That's the thing about wearing my sloppy crafty sweatshirt, is I drag everything off with my sloppy sleeves. So then I end up losing stuff. Alright, where'd I throw my pen? And get my other little pieces here. Put these up here. I've really lost it, guys. Can you see it? I lose something every video, don't I? I'm sure I've dragged it off in the floor. Half the time what I do is I've got my trash bin sitting right under my desk so I can just kind of break stuff off into it. And half the time I end up breaking or dropping whatever I've lost into the trash bin. So that's a real possibility. And if it's true, I'll never find it. So, what are we gonna do? I can't leave my glue open. And I know it's sitting right here somewhere. Okay. There it is. I need one of those big dangles, I guess, so that I don't lose it. No, I don't want one. My little pins serve their purpose. Okay, so what we're gonna do for this one is I have this handsome young gentleman here. I have another cigar band, and I think I'm actually going to put this cigar band on this journal card or tag, whatever I make it, or I may put it on the short one that's going in here. Yeah, I think I'll put it on that one. I like it on that one, but we'll figure that out later. What I want to do right now is I'm going to create like a little pocket on here. Kind of like a belly band more than a pocket. Horizontal belly band, if you want to call that a belly band. Actually, that to me is more of a belly band than the vertical, because when you wear something across your belly, it's horizontal, it's not vertical. But nevertheless, so I'm going to glue that down just on the two edges. Like that. And then to embellish it, I have a couple of little pieces of ephemera. This is one of Tim Holtz dials, and it's actually some kind of boiler dial or whatever, but it kind of reminded me of the little dial on a humidor. So that's what we're going to pretend. And then I have this little number 6 here. Kind of a grungy number. There's a little bit of white showing. I'm going to try to clip off there. And put that on there. And then I have just a little ticket. And it says the best ever. So, I mean, it has numbers and stuff on this side, but on this side it said the best ever. So I kind of wanted to use this side. I always use the number sides. So I thought it'd be different and use this one. I'm just kind of roughing it up a little bit. I'm going to put that kind of like that, so I can read the best ever. Alright, so we want to put the the ticket down first. And then the number. Then the dial. We'll put the glue just in the middle. Got to move it over because that's going to flip open, so can't have it over the edge. Make sure that's going to flip. Yep. All right. And run the piece of paper back here and make sure nothing is stuck we don't want to stick. And so then this little gentleman, which is also from the kit, see, it has really cool back on it. Put my pen back in there before I lose it again. Okay. And I don't think I'm going to poke a hole in the top of this because his head is like really close to the top of this tag. I could do like, oh, I could do the slot and then put some fabric in there and we'd get another F word. I got this off Amazon, and I think it's called a name badge punch. If you put that in the search box, it should come up. But it makes this really cool little slot instead of a circle, and it's a really good punch for in this particular case where you don't have a lot of room at the top. And I have this piece of fabric just sitting over here to the side, and it's just a piece of cotton. And I'm going to put some ink on it. I'm just going to hold one end of it and put my dauber down on it, and then pull it out from under the inker, and whatever gets on there gets on there, and it just keeps it from looking so new. And then I can put this through here. Maybe. And you can choose to either tie it, you can put a grommet through there. I think I'll do a grommet. So, let me get my crocodile. You could do a brad, but I think I'm going to do a little grommet. So I'm just going to hold it, poke a hole, and get a little grommet here. Not two, just one. These are so little that they're going up under my nail, which I need to trim desperately. Okay, let me switch my tool around here. I think I got that on the right one. I always go in there. This is not the easiest thing to do with fabric, I can tell you. I should have glued it first. Could have moved that just a little bit further. Oh, it didn't even work. See that? Some of these grommets are not worth anything. Let's try another one. I don't remember what brand these little ones are, but I know I'm gonna have to go back and look when I have to reorder them and not get the same brand. They're awful. And I think I've said this before. I think my crocodile's about to bite the dust. I think I'm gonna have to get another one. Okay, we got it. And I'm gonna trim that off just a little bit. Just a little too long for my taste. And then just kind of use my nail and make it ravel just a little bit on the edges and the top. And now that can go right behind there. Yep, it fits quite nicely. May stretch that a little bit. Just kind of stretch it out. I'm going to use my foam folder. If you have something that you're trying to get in a pocket and it seems a little tight, if you'll take something flat, you can use a ruler or a bone folder and just kind of go in there and just kind of stretch your paper a little bit. It'll make it a whole lot easier, especially if you have a tag that's, you know, not really thick. Oh, look, that came loose again. Okay. That's it. I give up. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave that completely out. And I'm going to put a brad instead. It's really getting on my nerves. I'm going to use one of these square brads. I think I've got a little one. I may like that better anyway. I want that size. No, I think I want this other color. I want. Oh, do I not have? I think that one will work. Okay, let's try this. Third time. So I'm going to put this back through here again. I may end up liking this better because now that I'm looking at that brad, it's making me think of the little squares that are on here. So I can actually, once I get it in here, turn it. Like that, and it kind of mimics. Well, that ain't. Listen to me. My husband and I joke all the time saying ain't. And he's got me stuck on it now. There we go. I like that because see, that kind of mimics that little shape there. So maybe that was a happy accident. All right, so we've got our pocket back here with our tag in it. That don't go there. What are you doing? It goes here. Again, I'm going to stretch this just a little. And then put it in there. There's where you go. It's right there. And the reason I chose to do like a belly band here instead of a pocket is he's a full-length person. And I wanted to see his full body in the suit and the shoes and all that kind of stuff. I just thought that that would look better, and so that's why I chose to do full length. Now this is going to be my tag for behind there, and I may really have to trim it down. Let's trim it down a little bit. And I'm not going to decorate it at the moment, because again, I want to kind of see how everything turns out on the page. But it will go down in here, like that. I am going to go ahead and cut the corners, just so that'll be ready. It'll be one more thing that'll be ready. And I think I'll do a slot on this one too, just because I did a slot on the other one. And I think it'll coordinate better. So we'll do a slot, we'll ink around it, because we know we're going to end up doing that. But as far as embellishing it or backing it, I'll do that on my own, just so we're not taking any more time. And I think that, I love the shape, but I think it needs to be smaller. So I may switch that out. I do have some smaller ones than that. And then I think I'm going to put this other, for sure, I'm going to put this other cigar band on here like that. But as far as further down the tag, I have no idea. And then this guy will go in this pocket. Let's see how tight we are. We may need to cut it down as well. Okay, that's going to fit nicely now. I am going to stick this down in here. I may have to get my ruler to reach. But be gentle when you do this. You're just kind of wanting to give your paper just a little bit of a stretch. Once you do that, though, your tags will go in and out better. Another trick is that if you're having difficulties with one going in and out, round the bottom corners of your tag so that you don't have such a sharp edge, and that will also help with your tags going in and out. And then this little guy goes over here. So now what we have, when we put it on the page, back here on this brown page, here, it will go on the page like this. It will flip open like this, and we'll have a long tag here, we'll have a tag here, we'll have a tag here, and then this file folder can flip open and it can be a place to write. Okay, so I like the way that came out. I wanted to do something masculine for today's make, so yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I think it looks good in the journal. So let me know what you think, guys. And thanks for joining me. And again, if you're new, thanks for subscribing. And if you are returning, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate all your comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, be sure and ask them. I do read all my comments. Sometimes it takes me a little bit, but I try to respond as quickly as I can to any of your questions or comments. And hopefully, I will be back tomorrow with... What am I going to do tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow is Relax, Revisit, Rewind. So I hope, and we're going to be working with, if you remember, we're going to be working with the little coin savers. So if you have any of those, grab them. And if you don't, I will give you an alternative that you can make your own. And I hope you'll join me for that. Until then, everybody have a good evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.